guys. We're going to go over a book haul that I've accumulated over the last probably 2 months of the year, and a few of them I got from Santa Claus that I wanted. So first, I do believe I talked about this. I listened to it on Libby, and it's Under Your Scars by Ariel N. Anderson. And this book destroyed me. Couldn't believe what I was reading. It was so good. I had all the emotions about it, and I had to buy it to add to my shelves. And then I found out that they had a little novella that was written after this, so I definitely had to pick it up. And it's Delilah and Under Your Scars novella by the same author, and it's microscopic. Let's see how many pages. 47 pages. And I was so happy to get the first story a little more tied up with this one, so I had to pick this one up as well. The next book I chose was The Second Mrs. Astor, and I picked this up to do a future journey reads that I'm really excited about doing. Hopefully we'll get to it in January. Wanted to get to it in December, but hoping to get to it in January. Need to figure out if I can get tickets to go somewhere special to read this book. And the next couple of books I actually found at Dollar Tree, and it's one of my favorite authors from a child, and it's Judy Blume. We have Deanie, Then Again Maybe I Won't, Blubber, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And I heard that they were at Dollar Tree, and I love the colors. I thought they would be pretty on the bookshelf. Maybe do something special with reading some authors of mine from my childhood, but definitely loved Judy Blume as a kid. Then the next book I chose was Nobody's Girl. I bought this book, and then it came up in Libby, so I listened to it while I read it. It was heartbreaking. She's one of the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein. It was a lot of heartbreaking moments. I would have you look up trigger warnings, lots of detail, but I did enjoy listening to the book and reading along. I feel horrible about everything that happened to these young people, and it made me cry. This book made me cry, and I knew that she passed away this year, so it was even more upsetting to read. It was quite the book. Have your Kleenexes ready when you read this book if you choose to read this. But I'm so happy I did. The next book, I did read the first book of this, and I remember talking about it in one of my videos and loving the illustrations. And it's my favorite thing is Monsters. Book 2. I had to pick up the second book. I loved the first book of this. It was so much deeper than I thought it would be, and it was one of the books I wanted to get to for 2025, book 1, and then I found out they had a book 2, so I had to pick this up. So really happy about that. Okay, the next section of books are some books that Santa Claus kindly brought my way. The first book, I actually watched the YouTube of this, the Disney Food Blog, and it's Disney Adults by A.J. Wolf. I am a member in a lot of Disney communities, and I heard that this was out. I don't know if I consider myself a Disney adult from what I've read, but I do love Disney, and I am an adult, and I just thought it would be fun to read. Really excited. I, again, watched the YouTube video that AJ puts out, I think daily. I feel like daily or several times a week. And I've learned so much from the YouTube videos that she produces, and I definitely wanted to support her in the Disney community, and I asked for this book from Santa Claus. Next book, and I knew that I wanted it even though I listened to it already through I don't think Audible, I think it was Libby, Tim Curry, Vagabond, and he actually narrates it. And I am a huge Tim Curry fan. Love him to death. Someday, if I'm ever at a special convention, I hope he will be there. I will stay an hours-long wait of a line to meet him. He is one of my favorites, and it was such a beautiful book. I loved learning about all of his different things that he got involved with. He goes into detail about everything from his first acting role in, I think it was plays, if I remember right, all the way to what he's doing now. And he goes into detail about suffering the stroke, and it really was an amazing book. And most importantly, I loved hearing his voice. I am a huge Tim Curry fan, even though I had already listened to the book before I got the book from Santa Claus. This will be a treasured thing on my bookshelves forever. Love Tim Curry. If you're a fan of his work or him or both, listen to this. I would highly suggest listening to the audiobook. Like I said, he narrates it in his own voice, so that's a win for me. Another book that Santa Claus gave me that was on my list. Love this guy too. You'll see similarities in things. It's Last Rites by Ozzy Osbourne. Was I very upset when he passed away this past summer? Yes, I was. I was excited to add this to my list, and Santa Claus was so generous to give me this book. And I have been waiting to see if he narrates his own book before he passed away. One of my favorite things, is to look for pictures. I didn't look for pictures yet. Hang on. I don't see any, but he is truly a favorite of mine. Sometimes people talk about I'm one away from somebody. I have a little story. When I was in high school, I had a procedure in a hospital. I had my appendix removed, and an aunt of mine was coming up to see me, and she was in the elevator coming up to my room. And come to find out, she came in and she goes, I was in the elevator with Ozzy Osbourne. And again, I've been a fan of his forever. And I'm like, yeah, right. I mean, okay, stop playing tricks on me. And she goes, no, I really was. I swear to you, Ozzy Osbourne was in the elevator with me. And nobody believed her. And then some nurses were gathered around out in the hallway, and they were talking. Apparently, my aunt was not making this up. She was in the elevator with Ozzy Osbourne. They were in town. One of his kids got hurt on the stage or fell or something, and they brought him to the hospital, and my aunt really was telling the truth. She was in the elevator with Ozzy Osbourne. If that was me, I would have collapsed. Thank God I would have been in a hospital setting. I mean, I always loved that story, not about his kid being injured, and I don't know which one. But yeah, she was in the elevator with Ozzy Osbourne. That's kind of always been a neat story to think of, but I am a huge fan of Ozzy. May he rest in peace. Love him. So, long story short, excited to get to this book. Okay, the next book Santa Claus brought me is 100 Rules for Living to 100, An Optimist's Guide to a Happy Life by Dick Van Dyke. How could you not love Dick Van Dyke? I am a big fan of him. And so I heard that this book was coming out, and I promptly added it to a list for me, and Santa Claus must know. I have a lot of books about people, memoirs. I also want to see if he reads it in his own voice, but this is a book that I definitely would want to keep on my shelves forever. Big fan, Dick Van Dyke. So 100 Rules for Living to 100. It's just amazing. We were very fortunate. This is way off topic, but one of my grandmothers got to live to be 102. You just want to ask people, how did you make it to be 100 or 102? So I'd love to hear some of his advice. And two of my favorite books from Santa Claus. You know, if you've been here for any video, I am a big horror fan. And I love me some Art the Clown. So Terrifier 3, the novelization, came out, I think, right before Christmas. I added this to my list. Was very excited to get this. I have the second one, and we went to a con, and I got to meet David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown. Got some pictures, some fun things happened. Also finished the book around the Terrifier cast that was in town for the conventions. Really excited to get to this book. Okay, and the next book is so beautiful, I think. I am a big Disney fan. I love collecting Disney and everything. I also love the Peanuts gang. I grew up on Charlie Brown and the gang. And my husband, growing up, had a beautiful basset hound, Pepper, and they named her Pepper after Peppermint Patty from Charlie Brown. And I heard about this book. I added it to my list. It's so beautiful, I think. And when I was buying some other gifts for the kids, I thought, I don't know. I don't know if Santa Claus is going to get notification that I added this to my list so late. So I actually bought it, and then Santa brought a copy, so we ended up with two, and then we returned one. But this is a visual history of the iconic comic strip. I'm back to where I remember newspapers every day, and I would read the Charlie Brown comic strip every day, and this is just beautiful. It actually even shows, I'm not sharing very good, it actually shows some toys. It showed the snow cone machine, if I can find it right here. I had that. Let's see, right here. I had that. It has the glasses. Oh, 1980s and 90s memorabilia. Okay. And then Pez candies. It talks about drawing and the comic strips and all the characters, the history of the characters. It's a beautiful book, and I'm really excited to read it. I have all the movies on DVD. I can't have a season go by without watching a Charlie Brown special, and I'm talking, I'm not a child. I mean, I'm a child at heart, but I'm not a child. But look how beautiful. I mean, I could just show you all the pictures. Look. It's just full of information and stuff. And I have some of the ornaments. I have a lot of Charlie Brown ornaments, but I have some of the old-fashioned type, I don't know, diamond paintings of Charlie Brown I'm waiting on. I just love Charlie Brown and the gang. I mean, it talks about Charles Schultz, obviously. It looks like growing up pictures, and it's a beautiful book, beautiful. So really excited. This will be somewhere special on my shelves. It's not Disney, but it's just as good. I love it. Very happy with this little book haul, and I hope that if you celebrate any of the holidays, you were able to grab something special, and I hope you got to spend time with family, friends, loved ones. That's what makes the season so wonderful. So with that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself and take care of one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video.